and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about easing the pain of lost information, or how I never lose a note. If you're in sales, then you make a lot of notes. The battle is how you retrieve these notes when you need them. The pain of lost information is a real dilemma. If you only see 1 square inch of your computer monitor for all of the sticky notes, then you might be looking for a better system. Let me talk about the ways to keep track. There are so many ways to create and store notes that this post could go long in listing just the top 100. But I'll minimize it to some of the crack ideas that I've had over the years. Back in the day, there was only one choice for notes: to be written on a piece of paper. Any kind of paper. Notebook paper, napkins, matchbook covers, and, in later years, in day planners. I've seen salespeople with years of spiral notebooks lining their shelves. When I asked them about those, I would hear that was the notes they had taken for the past 10 or 20 years. They were maniacal about having that notebook on their desk or in their hand at all times. Now, this was quite a feat, but how could you possibly retrieve a piece of information that was needed from these notebooks? I'll have to admit that at one time I was a junkie for my daytimer, planner system, for those of you not old enough to remember what that is. The daytimer system included a neat little plastic box with a planner for each month. You could then use the plastic box for storing the previous month's planners, so you always had your notes. Again, with a shelf full of these boxes, it was quite a feat, but there was no way I could recall a note from 2.37 years ago, much less by a particular word. So, let's talk about moving to digital. I think I mentioned, possibly a few hundred times, that I am a tech junkie. So, when my first smartphone arrived, and this was way before iPhone was ever invented, I believe it was a Windows-based HTC phone, but I can't recall the model number. Anyway, it had a slide-out keyboard, and I thought this was going to be great. I could just take notes on my phone. Yeah, right. It was too small, and it was too slow. Later, my first iPhone did arrive. Still, too small and too slow. And later, I purchased a Generation 1 iPad. I thought this is going to be note-taking nirvana. Big screen and fast, and I went to testing note-taking apps. I tried many of the standards, like the Notes app that's built into the iPhone, but I found that trying to keep up with client conversations while I was typing just didn't work. Continuing, I researched apps where I could write directly on the screen of my iPad. The best I found was a product called Penultimate. I quickly found it to be lacking in response time, and I was just having to use too many pages. It just wouldn't hold enough information. So you've got to change the page and start with a new one, and it was just a pain. This was too slow, so I ended up going back to paper. Of course, going back to paper means going back to paper problems. The problem being, where is my note? Okay, so where do we go next? I'm sure you've heard of the product called Evernote. This fantastic note-taking system that allows you to quickly search for anything, even words inside of a photo. I know a lot of people who have tried Evernote and they just don't get it. I agree. It took me a long time to get comfortable with the system, but trust me, it is worth the effort. You have access to Evernote from every format, so that eliminates a lot of problems as well. You can get it from your smartphone, either Android or iPhone, tablets, the web, and they even have a downloadable version you can put on your Mac or Windows computer. Then you have local access to all the files, and then that syncs to the website. You could store notes, photos, PDFs, even audio recordings. You can also attach files to a note, so it is extremely powerful. Here's the problem. Attempting to type or write in Evernote wasn't any better than any other app that I'd ever tried. Luckily, I found a companion app called Scannable. This little jewel uses your phone or tablet camera to scan a piece of paper. It works fantastic, and it's so simple. You just open the app, point the camera at what you want to capture. It auto-focuses, auto-crops. I mean, you have just that note right there. You could then save that file direct to Evernote, and also you could select what notebook you want to store the scan in. Or you could share the scan either by email or to another app or to an air printer if you wanted to print it out. Now, here's my system. As far as I'm concerned, nothing works as well in a client meeting as taking notes on a sheet of paper. And when I'm at my desk, I take out one new clean sheet of paper every day, and at the top, I put the date and the day and just make a note, notes. That's what I'm going to take all my notes on that day. If you want to look back over at the written section, there is a picture of that header. Now, at the end of the day, this paper is likely full of notes and perhaps another page or two. So what I do is during my start of day routine tomorrow morning, I'm going to use the Scannable app to scan all of these pages along with the pages in my daily planner into one file. I then save that file directly to Evernote into a folder called Daily Sheets. Now, I do want to give you a note. I've also saved this file as a photo, since Evernote can then search for any word that is in that scan. Now, since Evernote can search by words that are within the photo, I can search for any term that I may have written down and later need to recall. Let's say that I remember I took a note 6-8 months ago somewhere, and it was related to a 1,000-gallon tank. I can simply tell Evernote to search for the number 1,000 or 1,000 gallon, and within seconds, every note that has this phrase is populated into the search results. The end result, I get all of the ease and benefits of using pen and paper, and the benefit of being able to quickly retrieve any note I've ever taken. One final item I wanted to tell you about, I've also tried recording notes into Evernote because the app will record notes as well. In addition, I tried another really well-built app called Voicera. Voicera even lets you make bookmarks by using a certain phrase which will be highlighted later, and that way you know there's a specific item to follow up on. As great as that sounds, I found a couple of problems with these as well. One being, I'm back to a system where I can't search my notes for a given word or a phrase. And number two, my clients really don't seem too keen on being recorded during our conversations. I hope this helps you become more efficient in your note-taking. If you want to give my system a try, then Evernote has a free plan that you could use, or you can get 1 month of free Evernote Premium by using my link. You can find that over in the written part of the post. You can click on that, sign up for a month of free Evernote Premium. I certainly would appreciate it if you'd leave me a comment on how you keep up with your notes, or jump over to the Facebook group and join in the conversation at facebook.com/sales-expedition. I really appreciate you being with me here today, and I hope we've passed on some valuable information. One final thing, if you haven't signed up, jump back over to the website, sign up so you never miss a piece of valuable content. Until next week, have a fantastic day.